favor this type of game, right? Because he's not going to win the dominance talk about humping, but he can win the one about guarding something. So he likes to choose that. And he's won with this guy before. So essentially, he's using that game as a way of gaining social status. Good boy. Okay? Some dogs will choose it to do through guarding resources. Some dogs will choose it through literally physically dominating one another, like humping. But he found his game, and a lot of small dogs do this, where they find that if they can take a resource and successfully keep other dogs away by snarling and guarding, it boosts their ego. They're filled with testosterone. They feel great. It's a very rewarding game to play. However, it's a dangerous game to play, and we don't allow it here. All right? Because what is it? It's a conversation about hierarchy. So these dogs are together, and they're talking about hierarchy. They're talking about status. It's as simple as that. He's having a conversation about resources all together, meaning if I can guard this ball from you, then that means I'm high enough up. So anytime there's resources that we both might want, we know that I can get them because I've been winning this conversation over and over again. Now, when we live with a pack of dogs, what we do is we say everybody on the hierarchy is equal, but below the humans, right? So we are above you, we're your leaders, you all are equal. And if we catch you talking about the hierarchy, trying to form ranking amongst each other, then you have us to deal with, meaning we correct it. So we don't allow two dogs to talk about where they are on the hierarchy. Meaning, where are they when it comes to the line to wait for resources? Do they get first access, or are they at the bottom of the pack? Who gets last access, right? To water, food as basics, shelter, people, toys, anything they see valuable. So, the number one thing we do is we correct that type of behavior, and it does not have to be over just guarding. That's only one way to have that conversation. There's other ways to do it. Sniffing each other, getting dominant with each other is another one. Playing too rough, seeing who can out-wrestle the other. You have to have a keen eye for when the play is healthy and it's a nice back and forth, it's consensual, and when it's just one-sided and bullying, okay? When it's one-sided and bullying, we cut it off. Whenever the intensity gets too high, we cut it off, meaning we can cap the intensity of play. So if dogs are playing, they're playing rough, but not too rough. They have a rough play style, the space is accepting of it, and they know each other well. We might be able to let them get a little bit more amped up. But generally speaking, we have dogs play with an intensity. If we're talking 1 to 10, I would say like a 4 or a 5. I wouldn't want them to go above that. Other rules: no teeth, meaning they can't be using their teeth to play. No humping, no mounting of any sort. No punching, like continuing to smack each other or anything like that. No big, powerful moves. But they can play, and they can juke, and they can dance, and they can play tag, and they can do these things. They cannot play keep away. We're not going to let a dog take a stick, add value to it, and then play keep away, because that is a hierarchical game. We're not doing any of that stuff, okay? And by not doing that stuff, what's left? What's left is just hanging out and getting to know each other, exploring the environment, and enjoying each other's company without necessarily just ragdolling each other around for 45 minutes, right? Also, when we let our dogs play, generally me and what we do here is we let them play, and then 15 minutes, 20 minutes goes by, it's done. Everybody relax. We're not doing that again, possibly till tomorrow. We just did that. So we put a cap on how intense they are when they play, meaning I'm watching all of them, and if I see somebody too intense, that dog gets corrected. Okay? Possibly recalled, reset, calm them down, let them back in the mix. So we're constantly correcting and recalling the dog who makes the mistake of going too high in energy, and then sending them back out so they learn how to regulate. After a few sessions, they learn how to regulate, and then the play is healthy. It's bouncy, it's fun, there's movement, there's exercise, but there is an intent to dominate. There is an intent to figure out the hierarchy. There isn't that in there because we're saying no to that, okay? All right. Another thing is, again, I think I've already said this, but just don't have the resources around, the obvious ones, like, hey, guys, go play, here's a ball. Like, that's just asking for it. So if you can't control them to the nth degree, then that's just asking for more variables for things to go wrong. It's a liability. Okay? And I'm seeing, yeah, I see him, I see what he does, but I also see what he does. This guy's a bull in a china shop. This guy pushes boundaries. This guy's just, don't do that to him. She was chewing on his feet. You know, so they both need to have boundaries. And here's another thing. Let's say there are resources. You live with dogs, it's going to be a time where they generally have resources. He has a resource right now, that ball that he's destroying. If I'm the leader of this pack and I'm in this room, if I see any of these dogs come over and even sniff that ball, I correct that dog. Because he would want to do it. But once they understand that if you correct him, you're in trouble. But if you wait and let me do it, he's in trouble because he shouldn't be coming over here. So I'm going to take care of you. And once I prove that to them, they trust. That's how I can have Riggins get bombarded by dogs and he'll wait. He won't just bite them. He'll wait for me to come at his aid and correct the dogs and send them away. He knows I'm going to do it. So honestly, if you really want to get these two tight, the best thing to do is to do these types of exercises with them. The best thing that you can do for activities together that's physical but it's not wrestling is hiking.
We're going to take one today.
It's the best. There's nothing that beats walking and hiking. Okay, and the difference is like hiking, we're going to be doing more like up inclines and through the woods and stuff like that. But the best, I'm telling you, they don't have to wrestle all the time. If we can just say, hey, let's go explore, then I feel like the dogs get very satisfied running around that way and using their nose and all that. I'm going to take this away from him now. Now, I will linger in the conversation if I see talk back, right, which I did. Good, that's better. See that face is there? If I shush and he came straight up like this, that's fine. That's not what he did though. He kind of looked at the thing, pawed at it, threw some energy towards it like, that's mine. That is never okay to do to a human. That's just, that's a rule to all dogs. I'm not just him. It's just like, if I come over and I say, don't touch that, and you start to get pushy with me, that's a correction. Because who knows if it's the day that I actually need to take something from you or somebody needs to take something from you and you're becoming a little brat about it. At the very least, a brat about it. At the worst, you're getting nippy and starting to bite. Even nice dogs will bite their owner just to correct their owner. They don't want to send you to the hospital. They just want to say, leave me alone. And that's not okay. So, good boy, listen. Go over your watch that. Look at what the shade he threw me when I first put my hand there. He didn't give me that total respect. It wasn't until I addressed him, he dropped what he was doing, he looked at me, and he gave me that softness. And then I reward that softness. And then this, he chose another move, which isn't submission. This is submission. He chose to then, what I was calling sucking up to me, right? Like using that charm to bypass the correction. And he's just kind of doing one of these playfully being cute at the ball, correct? Once I corrected that last-ditch effort to manipulate the situation, which that is, that charm, he submits. Once he submits, I said, that's what I like. So in the future, when I go to take something and I shush, which means that's mine, don't touch it, I want submission. Which just means that you're totally okay with giving that to me. Good boy. Break.
Good boys and girl.
Go. Good.